You ever just wake up in the morning, just absolutely jonesing to craft a pile of spell scrolls? Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be covering a build that I've actually been sitting on for a while, and I refer to this build as the Scroll Maker. And as if you can imagine, it does what it sounds like it does. It gives us the ability to create a ton of magic scrolls. For this build, you're going to want to maximize your intelligence. And in regards to race, it's not super important, but if you want to grab some of the feats we need for this build sooner, go either custom lineage or variant human. And from here, we're going to take the crafter feat. What this lovely little feat does is literally give us discounts for items. I kid you not, the feature that we're really looking at here is called discount. Whenever you buy a non-magical item, you receive a 20% discount on it. And on the surface, this might just make it seem like you're just a walking coupon book, which it very well does, but this significantly helps with crafting our spell scrolls. You see, crafting scrolls takes a certain amount of time and money, and while the crafter feat doesn't reduce the time it takes to make an item, it does, however, reduce the amount of money it takes to make said item. I have to jump to another thing. All of these little points in the build are kind of done tangentially to one another. So anyways, our background. What we're going to want to do is take the Mageborn background from Dungeons of Drakkenheim. And yes, this is a new book that I'm mentioning here on the channel. And when I say new, I don't mean new in the sense of, hey, this came out like last week, but new in the sense of, A, I haven't covered it before on the channel yet, and B, you very well might not have heard of this book a whole lot. You see, D&D Beyond has recently done a thing where they're starting to license third-party content, and you can find this content on D&D Beyond, and you can use it there. And so, Dungeons of Drakkenheim is kind of one of these cases. And that's also kind of my mentality for this. If it's on D&D Beyond, it's kosher. And that's the logic of the video, and we're sticking with it. But of course, at the end of the day, your DM has the final say. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, so the reason that we're with this background is because we get the feature Bookworm. So with Bookworm, what it does is it allows us to create our own personal spell scroll. Once per day after we finish a long rest, we can spend 1 hour to create a spell scroll. We only need paper and ink to do so, and the level of the spell we create equals 1/2 our proficiency bonus rounded down or lower. So at first level, we can already create our own spell scrolls, which is pretty cool. But anyways, now that I've covered the background, we have to move into the actual class itself, and that is Wizard. And the reason why I had to kind of make that jump is because Mageborn has a unique feature where you can't go into this unless you're playing a bard, sorcerer, warlock, or wizard. So just keep that in mind now. But anyways, Wizard, finally, what we're going to want to do is go Order of Scribes. This is a very strong subclass. It also gives us a lot of damage versatility to our spells. And we're going to want to progress in this class until we hit level 10. And here, we get our Master Scrivener feature. Now what this does is two different things. One being that it actually mimics our Bookworm feature, allowing us to create spell scrolls. However, the difference is the Scrivener scrolls can only be read and used by us, the creator. The Bookworm scrolls can be used by anyone, though. And the second feature of Scrivener is that it allows us to create magic scrolls in half the time and half the gold. And now we get to the really fun part. Somewhere along the lines between levels 1 and levels 10, as we progress through Wizard, we'll want to take the Android Crafter feat. And now the Android Crafter feat is under a similar state to our background in the sense that it comes from a third-party licensed book. This one specifically being Grim Hollow Layers of Atharis. It's on D&D Beyond. So yeah. So now Android Crafter has this lovely little feature where the time it takes us to create an item using our proficient skills or tools is halved. And of course too, if we fail to successfully craft the item and would normally lose the components, in this case we retain the components instead. And once again, this is a very valuable feat for essentially saving money as well as making scrolls faster and more efficiently. And combining all of these features, we can now craft spell scrolls in 1/4 of the time and for 10 times less gold. And now just think of all the spell scrolls we could craft. And thinking of crafting spells, did you know that I have a coffee? Each week I'm working on updating it with new homebrew, whether that be spells, items, subclasses, monsters, you name it. So if you really enjoy my content here and you'd love to support me, then please go check it out. Link in the description. But back to the build. Right now we've got some very insane spell scroll making potential, and this is just 10th level wizard. And funny enough, this is actually where our build splits off into two paths. We could potentially go and stay in wizard all the way to 9th level spells and just make some really, really strong spell scrolls, or we can hop over to Artificer. The reason why we want to do this is because, funny enough, Artificers also get a feature at 10th level known as Magic Item Adept. With this feature, we can craft any magic item of common or uncommon rarity in a quarter of the time and for half as much as the usual gold. For those keeping track at home, this means that we can craft spell scrolls up to 3rd level in this way, and if you combine this with all of the previously mentioned features, we can craft spell scrolls up to 3rd level 20 times cheaper and for a 16th of the normal time. And now let's look at the split between these two builds, and I'll let you guys decide which one you like more. The first build we propose allows us to create high-level spells. We're single-classing Order of Scribes Wizard, and normally, it would take us 120 days to craft a spell scroll of 9th level with the new errata in 2024. Like, let's say, for instance, we want to go and make a spell scroll of Wish. That's 120 days to craft and approximately 50,000 gold. Now, if we were to go and use all of our wizard features from the Order of Scribes route, we can create that spell scroll of Wish in 30 days and for only the cost of 5,000 gold. And even too, I'm just really kind of playing it up with the whole spell scroll of Wish thing. But what you could do with this too is also just craft any kind of scroll that you want as a wizard that you have access to. You can make a little spell scroll shop and easily just stock it. For example, a common spell scroll of 1st level would normally cost 25 gold and about a day to craft. Now, this same scroll would take a little over 6 hours and would only cost you 5 gold to make. So just note the distinction with this specific route. The scrolls you can make going Scrivener are just better overall. They just have a potential to be of higher level. You can create any level of spell scroll because you yourself are a wizard that has made it to that level. However, what the Artificer Wizard multiclass does is allow you to make lower quality spell scrolls incredibly quick. If you're crafting a 3rd level or lower spell scroll, you can now create it at a fraction of the gold it would have taken. For example, a normal spellcaster crafting a 3rd level spell scroll would have taken 150 gold in 5 days of work. With the Artificer and Wizard route, you can now craft that same scroll in 7.5 hours for 7.5 gold. So both of these builds allow us to create some mini spell scrolls, either thanks to our Bookworm or Master Scrivener features, which can give our party some low resource utility, as well as even us some low resource utility. We can craft spell scrolls incredibly quickly with our Android Crafter feat, and even get better pricing for them too with our Crafter feat and other abilities. And if we decide to evenly multi-class between Artificer and Wizard, we can easily create a little spell scroll shop and just flood the market with low gold costing spell scrolls up to 3rd level. Or of course, we can also decide to just be a wizard, make a bunch of high level spell scrolls, and sell them off to the highest bidder. The choice is always yours. But anyways though, that is all the time I have today for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then please like, subscribe, and comment down below on what sort of spell scrolls you're making first. And also a big question for you, the viewer. If you were to have your own magic shop, what would you call it? Let me know down in the comments below. Until I see you again, keep smiling, keep scheming, and I'll see all of you next time.